Hello and welcome to today's Lunchtime Live. Today we are going to be talking about becoming an emotional mover instead of an emotional eater. Now, if you've been following along, we have been really focusing a lot on consciousness and what that means. And this is going right along the same line of that topic. So if you have found yourself unconsciously getting off into that ego mind, ego voice with that voice in your head and the pain that it causes, and you find yourself reaching for things to eat to cope with that voice, the things that it is saying, the stories it is telling, and also the pain that it is creating. Or sometimes it's not even pain. Sometimes life is happening and we have an emotional response to that. The voice has a reaction to that that's maybe even excitement or maybe even like a nervous energy of processing something or adjusting to something. Either way, it's going in there and it's grabbing something, grabbing food to cope or to calm that feeling or to release that energy. So what we're talking about today, and hello everyone that is joining, I'm so glad. Oh, hey Barbara, so glad you came today. But it's talking about going into healthy coping. It's not about, I want you to just let go of the goal of weight loss, okay? When you start going into, okay, is this the new thing that's going to help me lose the weight that I've been trying to lose? I lose it, I gain it, I lose it, I gain it, I do it, I don't do it. I've got all these different plans. I want you to just kind of, let's just wipe the slate clean. Okay, there's so much information out there. There's so much content. Eat carbs, don't eat carbs. Count your calories, don't count your calories. That's out of date. Just watch your food. It's just like, it's too much content. And we know content exists, is created by that unconscious voice, and there's just a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos. And this part of us is controlling those actions and behaviors if we're over here being possessed by it and lost in it. And it's so easy to do. It's so easy to get sucked right in and have our actions and behaviors controlled by this thing and not have space for choice. So what I'm proposing is that we make a simple switch, meaning we're not telling them, it's not like, okay, well, don't do this. Or just don't do this. And so the mind, that ego thing, is all about doing, right? It needs to do something. It needs to take some action. It needs to fix this or fix that and tries to get you to do that with it. So what we're doing is we're just kind of like not even going to go there to say, oh, well, just don't do that anymore. What we're going to do is to say, okay, we're going to replace and we're going to retrain that mind, which we're very aware of, and we're becoming more conscious and aware of what it does. And when it starts to create an energy in you, maybe you catch it, maybe you're conscious enough to not have that, to not buy into that story, whatever. Maybe you're not. Doesn't matter. Wherever you are in your consciousness practice, it doesn't matter, because what we're going to do is just switch the go-to coping mechanism to a healthier one, and that is movement. So instead of reaching for the habit is you don't even think about it, it's mindless. It's just like, oh, I'm at the fridge suddenly and now I've eaten this stuff and I wasn't hungry. I was just coping with an emotion. So instead of going to the food, the subconscious mind going straight in there and grabbing the handful of grapes or handful of popcorn or handful of potato chips or handful of chocolate or handful of Halloween candy or handful of whatever you're going for, instead of doing that, we are going to retrain it over 30 days. We're going to retrain it to go to a healthier coping mechanism, which is movement. It's still getting to do something. It's still getting to release the energy. but it's just that simple switch that would be healthier for your body. How all this came about is I was talking to a client, and she writes, and she writes plays, and she acts, and she does a lot of different things. But she was talking about a friend of hers, or I think it was a friend, I'm not sure. Anyway, he said that he had written this book, and or maybe she was listening to some talk he was giving. Anyway, written this book on weight loss, and he was saying that it was just eat less, move more, or move more, eat less. And he said that wasn't popular. He said it was true, it's simple, but it didn't sell very many books because it kind of wasn't a popular message in the mind. That ego voice needs it to be something more complex, something more dramatic, something more than that. But when you look at that, and her words really stuck with me. And every time I would go to the refrigerator, I don't know why, but I was hearing those words in my head. Move more, eat less. And I've come to a place in my own personal experience where I'm not getting a lot of movement. I'm practicing consciousness, but I'm usually sitting and observing my mind, or sitting and observing nature, or so not having a lot of movement. So I thought, yeah, move more, eat less. And then this kind of whole train of thought started happening around, well, what if we just replace the food with the movement? So yesterday I released an infographic. So I started then kind of doing a little research on myself. And I started noticing how the stories my mind was telling, which I'm already doing that in my consciousness practice, and what type of energy that was trying to create in the body. And for me, it's the biggest one that I still will feed into is it can cause frustration. If it's trying to work through something, analyze something, process something, it can cause frustration in the body. And so then I thought about that. Well, what type of movement can I see myself doing to release the frustration? And I could see like dancing. That's what came out for me. Now this doesn't you don't have to do, these are suggestions, the movements. If you look at the infographic, it's just suggestions that you can do to replace the food. Then ask yourself, well, what foods am I using to when I feel frustrated? So you're going to find, over these 30 days, you're going to find patterns of feelings. And then, yeah, you don't have to have music, and it doesn't have to be for a long time, 3 to 5 minutes. This is different than having to have some designated, okay, I got to exercise for 30 minutes. Well, y'all know the mental hurdles of that. If you get into it, if you get into the rhythm and get into the habit, which is what we're trying to set here with this move more, eat less. If you get into the habit, it's not so hard, but a lot of times it's hard for us to get started, to get the momentum going enough to be like, okay, here's my 30-minute exercise routine. Here's my diet routine. Here's my this. Here's my that. It's like, it takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of energy. Life is always happening. It gets in the way. And then here we are with feelings of guilt, and then on and on. And here we are in the cycle of trying to change and can't change, trying to change and can't change, and feeling like a failure. And sometimes we succeed, and it's just feeding this craziness, this mind. And we're wanting to do this from a more conscious place. We're wanting to do it from, I know my mind, I know what it does, I'm aware of the things that it does. So I'm going to consciously observe, what are my go-to foods for my go-to feelings? When you're frustrated, for me, when I'm frustrated, I have this just forget it, or another F word if you want to use that attitude. Just Never mind, even if I was trying to be, to eat put healthier things in the body, to do this or to do that or to follow some plan, if something were to come up that made me feel frustrated, then that triggered the response of forget it, and then I would eat whatever things it was that I would steer away from when I wasn't frustrated. But what we're wanting to do right now is just to notice that, to become conscious of that. When I'm frustrated, and here's usually the things that cause me to be frustrated. I get to feeling frustrated. Maybe it's stepping on the scale for you. Whatever it causes the frustration then sets off this reaction, this coping mechanism of using food to calm the feeling. So now what we're wanting to do is to incorporate a new habit of I'm feeling frustrated, and now we have phones where like set the timer for 3 minutes. You can if you're fancy or whatever like that, you can even say play this song, or you could attach songs to the movements that you want to do for each feeling, whatever that is for you. So you're feeling frustrated, so I can have a plan that, I'm frustrated. I'm hearing or feeling that urge to just forget it all and just eat whatever I want to eat. And so instead, I'm going to set timer, immediately say set timer for 3 minutes. And then I'm going to, and don't make this hard. Don't make this sound, now I got to set this up, and I got to get these special shoes on, and I've got to be dressed like this, and I got to get my sports bra on. Like, forget it. That's just hurdles. That's just putting time in there that the mind can then override you, and you won't even do that 3 minutes. So just immediately set timer for 3 minutes, and then go for it, okay? Do whatever movement. You can use my little guide. I have the emotion or the feeling, and then I also have a movement that goes with that. Thank you so much for that badge. She calls me Kiki. Thank you. Thank you for that. It took me a minute to decipher what your, I like that, what your name, your label is. So, do the movement, okay? Then, there you are, moving more, even if after you do the 3, you can do 5 minutes, you can do whatever you feel inspired to do, but at least do 3. And you may think that's insignificant. Your mind might say, that's not going to be enough to help anything. It's better than none. It's got to be better than nothing. Your body's getting attention. You're moving muscles you don't normally move. You're circulating blood in a way that you don't normally circulate it. It's got to be worth something, right? So you do the movement, and say maybe after you do that movement, the mind, I want you to just notice what it does. Does it still want that thing? If it does, eat it, okay? I'm not telling you don't eat this or that. That's not the point. The point is to create a habit. And my prediction is that after you start getting into this habit, that by the time that 3 minutes is up, something will shift in you. And you'll be like, I don't even really want that I'm not feeling the frustration anymore. I shifted my focus to my body and off of the stories my mind was telling. I got my energy moving in whatever way I did. Look, we're all at different fitness levels. We're all at different ages. Our bodies have been through different things. You decide for you. If you are sitting on the couch and you have limited mobility, you can't take off for a 2-mile run. You can't whatever, but you're feeling anxious. Sit there, which is why I put fear and avoidance, if you're feeling fear and avoidance, to use running or kicking. So say you're sitting there and you have limited mobility, but you can still you walk to the refrigerator and you can still move your legs. Just sit there and kick with your legs. Imagine, to get it when I got there, I didn't even want it. That's awesome. So you had time between that, space between that, which kind of just, I think if it had been me, I'd have probably went ahead and ate it. I don't know. But use whatever your fitness level is. So this is not a diet plan. This is not, we're not watching anything other than our feelings and getting to know yourself and this mind in your head and what it tells you to go to. You could probably make a list right now of the foods that you eat, your go-to foods. Mine is something sweet and something salty. And if I'm feeling really just defeated in life or frustrated, I'll go for this back to back. It's like a double barrel. It's like I'm going to have something sweet or I'm going to have something salty and then I'm going to finish it off with something sweet. Get to know yourself. That's your mind's coping skill. And that's okay, but it's not doing any favors to your body. Okay? It's not a health, by healthy, I mean healthy for your physical vessel that you walk around in. Because later it can cause other health problems, health issues. And now you're not only got this thing in here causing suffering and stress and whatever it's causing, the energy in your body, which doesn't help your body either. Now you're also coping with that energy that's harming your body with food that's then harming your body. So you got kind of a double whammy going on there. But with movement instead of food, you're moving more and eating less, which is already the secret code. You're not using food, you're using movement, which means, hey, I was aware of that feeling. I said set timer for 3 minutes. I moved my body, which means instead of sitting there focusing on the story in the head and the voice and what it's saying, stirring up pain and stirring up more energy that's harming the body, instead of doing that, I moved. I got out of that, out of my head and into my body, doing something with my body. Okay? That's a positive. And then that movement also released that energy. So say you didn't catch it in time, the energy got stirred up. You want to get that out of your body. You want to release that in some way. Okay, that's what the food, that's the chewing motion, that's what that's trying to do. The crunching or the sweet, chewy stuff, or you're trying to release it, and it may, a little bit, but how you're coping with it is damaging also. So yes, you may get a little release through that chewing motion or that action of using food, but the food itself is then counteracting the release of that energy from your body. But with movement, it's a win-win. Your muscles are getting to feel alive. You're moving life through your body. You're becoming conscious of your body. You're becoming conscious. You're shifting your focus. That energy is being released, and you're done. You didn't add any unhealthy foods. You didn't damage the body in the process of releasing the emotion. It's a healthy coping skill. And that's what I want to help, not just you, but me. I want to shift that once and for all. And I know it's just habit. I know that it is a subconscious program to reach for food. But if we can replace that reach for movement and become an emotional mover instead of an emotional eater, that is going to change so many things. It's worth a try, is it not? What do you have to lose but some pounds, really? Now it's up to you as we start this little 30-day challenge. I'm going to be doing the lunchtime lives like you see here for free, like this is always has been. You can watch these, but if you want to follow this content, if you want to follow this line of conversation and support and encouragement or whatever as we focus on this for 30 days, you can either do that here on Instagram by subscribing here. If you're a Soul Strong member, you don't need to do anything but just check your email. You may need to check your spam folder. I've had a little bit of difficulty. I sent 2 emails, one last night and one this morning about this topic, and it went to my spam folder. I sent it, and I sent it through my thing, and it sent to my spam folder saying there was some type of something detected that was dangerous, some link in it. It's links to subscribe at YouTube, or links to subscribe at Soul Strong, or links to subscribe at Instagram. That's all the links are. So I'm not sure what flag it threw up for their system. Anyway, check your spam folder so you can join on those 3 platforms. And so if you're on Teachable and Soul Strong, you'll get an email every day, or you can go into your course content and it'll be there also. These are just daily reminders. And you can also comment in the comment box. If you want more engagement, Instagram will be more engaging if you subscribe there, because I'll also be giving you those prompts or reminders every day, but we also have a group chat that we can use, and there'll be group posts. The same with YouTube. So whatever platform that you want to join on, whatever's easiest, whatever you look at the most, I'm on all 3. So if you want to join us for that, I encourage you to do so, and we'll reprogram this thing, and we'll switch this habit. I don't want you to focus so much on the weight loss. If you would like to weigh yourself at the beginning of this, just so you can just see progress, you can do that. Careful with things like that, because you're trying to make a life change, and sometimes life changes to see a physical difference may take longer than 30 days. And if that voice in your head has some idea of, oh, well, I bet if I do this, then I'm going to at least have lost 5 to 10 pounds, right? And then after the 30 days, you get on the scale, and maybe you lost 1 or 2, and then your mind says, well, just go back to eating. So you be careful when you use some measure like that, because it's not so much about that as it is consciousness, because this is a consciousness practice. And it is also about health, coping with the emotions that do get stirred up in a healthy way. Because movement is healthy for the body. And you need to know your body and its limitations and what it can do and can't do. And then if you want to, as you're observing over the next 30 days, and you're not doing this alone, you don't have to remember all this. I'll be prompting you each day on what to focus on. But as you learn yourself, and you learn the feelings that you're having, and you learn the reactions that you're subconsciously having and what food you're reaching for, and you decide what movement you want to replace that one with, then you've got it. You've got your own little formula to follow. And that's what I want to help you, keep you going, keep you accountable, and keep you finding out what that is for you. I noticed one last night that was I was very unconscious of it, but I got a phone call. I answered it, and I talked on the phone, and I hung the phone up and immediately went to, and I picked out like 2 or 3 pieces of the Halloween candy, and I ate it, and I was kind of had this whole train of thought going in my mind, like, move more, eat less, and then I was watching myself eat this candy, and then thought, oh, okay, all right, and didn't think too much of it. And then I got another phone call, and I answered it, and I talked, and these were not upsetting. I didn't feel emotionally disturbed in any way, but as soon as I hung up, I went and I stuck my hand in, I think it was like a bag of mixed almonds and like raisins, and it has little chocolate bits in it, and I ate that, and I thought, that's an odd pattern, that when the phone rings and I have a conversation and I hang up, I go reach for something. So those type of things, even though it wasn't emotionally disturbing, to me, I think it was, you don't have to spend too much time analyzing this. That's not the important part. The important part is that you notice it and that you replace it. So now I know that, to be alert to when the phone rings and I have a conversation. When I hang up immediately, I'm going to want to grab just a handful of something. I'm not hungry. I'm coping. I'm coping with something. And it could just be a break in the energy. It could be I was doing something and then the conversation came and it was kind of like, a shift in focus, and I was focusing on this, and then they were telling me this or that, and the reaching for something may be the habit I have of resetting back to where I was. I don't know. I don't have to know. You don't have to know. The important part is that you notice those times when you reach for food and you're not hungry. That's what I want you to be noticing over the next 30 days. When you reach for food and your body wasn't asking for it, which says you're coping with something. It could be just like mine, as insignificant and minor as just a shift or a change in the flow of what was going on in my world. It could be that simple. But I was coping with that, JSG, all the time. Yeah, you cope with that. Or certain people, you may notice it's just linked to certain people. And maybe you didn't know that that energy disturbed yours. And it doesn't matter. Don't go into that, because now you're off with your mind and you're feeding that thing. Boredom. Yes, definitely. The mind says, I'm bored. Oh, I just want something. That's an energy. That's a feeling inside of you. So now find a movement for boredom. You tell me, what do you think? Kiki, what do you think would be a good movement when you're, close your eyes and look, see yourself sitting there bored, and that's an energy, and you want to release that energy from your body. So what can you see yourself doing that helps you release the energy of, it's a kind of a defeated, unfulfilled feeling, right? What do you see yourself doing? What kind of action can you see yourself doing to release the feeling of boredom? Is it, and you look at your fitness level and what's possible for you. Let me think for myself as I give you time to answer that. And anybody's welcome to answer that. Get up and do some jumping jacks. That's kind of what I was thinking too, like just get my blood flowing. So you say, so answer this one for me, Kiki. When you are bored, what's your go-to food? What's your mind drive you to go get? What's the favorite thing? What's the most frequent thing it goes to? For me, let me think for me when I'm bored. I want something crunchy usually, like I'll have some chips, or I have something really savory, it's more savory than sweet when I'm bored. But what is it for you? Anybody's welcome to answer that question. Oh my Lord, the peanut M&M, or the peanut butter M&Ms. That is both crunchy and that is also sweet at the same time. Peanut M&Ms have been my favorite. Just the plain, not the peanut butter ones, but the plain ones. And my kids know it, and so when they would buy me, they would go to the store, I'm like, guys, like, y'all killing me because I'm trying not to eat these things. And now I can, yeah, they are so good. Anyway, so when you notice that, then you're bored. Be conscious of it, which is a check in your consciousness practice. Hey, I caught it. I was aware that there's this energy of boredom in me. It's like, and then that energy of boredom there's a lot of stories that your mind can go off, and I got nothing to live for, and I got nothing, and there's nobody to talk to, and this, it can go off into all kinds of painful stories and create more feelings than boredom. So, yes, I'm starting a 30-day program. We're starting today with this lunchtime live, and then we'll go from there. You can join on Instagram, YouTube, or on the Teachable platform, Soul Strong. Either one of those that you want to do. So when you feel that feeling, Kiki, you grab your phone, set a timer for 3 minutes. You may be halfway to the kitchen, or shoot, you may have them peanut butter M&Ms sitting right beside you on the couch. I don't know. You may have them on demand. I don't know. Whatever. Grab the phone, set timer for 3 minutes. You're welcome, Ashley. Set the timer and say, okay, well, jumping jacks is my replacement for these peanut butter M&Ms. I'm going to do 3 minutes of jumping jacks. Hello, Bo. How are you doing? So do those. And you would be amazed. Like I did that this morning. I was getting ready, and normally my mind will talk me out of. So it's like, that's not. You got to do at least 30 minutes of this and 30 minutes of that, and you got to do some full on P90X or something before it's going to create any change. And it's not about that. It's about creating a habit of replacing emotional eating with emotional moving. So I was standing there and I was like, yeah, I'm going to set my timer for 3 minutes. I wasn't feeling anything really significant in the feeling department, but I thought, hey, why not? Let's do it. So will it create a change in your body? You don't keep them in the house. I figure I can stop thinking about them. I got to go to the store, but this is kind of good. So Kiki, do your jumping jacks for 3 minutes. And listen, 3 minutes of jumping jacks is a long time. You're going to have to take a break after 1 minute between them, probably, or I think I would. Maybe you more fit than that and you can go for a full 3. But do that, and then stop and see what your, like, if that urge or that pull is still really strong. If it is, go ahead, okay? You probably won't eat as many as you would have before. See what happens. See what shifts. See what changes. And then a habit is formed when you consistently do that action. So I don't want there to be I succeed if I don't eat after I do the movement, and I fail if I don't, so just don't even try it. No, I don't want it to be that at all. So go ahead and eat it. Go ahead and have that thing. I know how the mind works, and I know the things that it says. I'm very aware of that. I've lived with this thing all my life, and you have too. Do the movement. Drink some water, probably, because you're going to be out of breath after 3 minutes of jumping jacks. Have a seat, and then just be like, okay, that energy, that boredom, like, there's life energy flowing through me right now. My heart is pumping, my blood is flowing, there's sweat pouring from my forehead. Feeling kind of good about myself. I got some good hormones flowing and some endorphins, and kind of feeling kind of proud of myself that I even said, hey, set the timer for 3. That's a success right there. And normally I would have just ate the M&Ms, and I would have coped with the boredom with those M&Ms, and then I would have enjoyed the M&Ms for like as long as they lasted, and then once the taste went out of my mouth, then I know what my mind's going to do. My mind's going to go into, oh my God, what did you do? The regret, the this and the that, and then you got to listen to that, and now you're suffering again, and now you don't feel good, and now you've got another feeling to cope with, and then you have another food that you use to cope with that feeling of regret, and oh, I'm defeated now, I'm never gonna change, and nothing's ever gonna get better, and what do I feel like? What would make me feel better? What's something I could eat? So on and on you go. But if you did the jumping jacks, there's going to be this a shift that happens, and you're just going to have to see it for yourself. That's something that I want you to experience for yourself, prove to yourself, and then go from there. And then the only thing I'm asking you to do is just the awareness. Catch yourself. Even if you've already ate the thing, it's already happened. You didn't catch it fast enough to not eat the thing. You were just like, oh my God, how'd these Cheetos get in my hand? What the heck just happened here? That's okay. You called it in that moment. You woke up to it. Oh, yeah. I was like really nervous about something. Somebody had told me something, or some thought came from the drama queen in my head, and I was listening to that, and I just got this really nervous, anxious feeling in my body, and a feeling of dread, and a feeling of avoidance and fear, and the next thing I know, I'm sitting here with Cheetos. It's like, okay, all right, that's good. I recognize that. That's a success right there. Now we're going to shift it, and now we're going to create a new habit. So now you can plan, maybe get a diary and write that down. Oh, when I look at that, I reached for something crunchy, something like very flavorful, very stimulating to my tongue, like to cope with this feeling of anxiety. So next time, when I start feeling that anxious feeling, first thing I'm going to do, if I catch it, hopefully I will, because I just gave this my awareness, so I probably will. Anything your mind does that you suddenly become aware of, that creates some space between you and it. So it's more likely that now you can create change. You can't create change when you have no space between you and your mind, because you think you are that thing. So it just stays in control, and whatever coping skills it has is whatever coping skills it's going to keep. But awareness, consciousness of that thing that caused that pain, that caused that reaction, awareness of that thing as not you, creates space. Now, when there's space, change can come in. Choice happen. Now I have a choice. Even if you catch it after the fact, it doesn't matter when you catch it. And this goes for anything. Eating, an emotional reaction, whatever that may be for you. When you become aware of it, even if it's after the fact, the words flew out of your mouth and you couldn't stop them. Awareness of that, sitting with that awareness that took you over, creates space. And now it has less power to do that again. It may still do that again, but you're shifting. You've got space between you and it to choose. So make a plan, write it down in your little notebook. Okay, observation from November the 10th or 11th, whatever this is. I was feeling anxious. This is what my mind was saying, or this is what was happening in my life situation. I found myself eating Cheetos and had Cheeto fingers it was all happening. Okay, everything was going on, but I did it, and it's okay. So let that self-acceptance come in. Let the awareness of what happened come in, and say, all right, well, what's my plan now? The next time I feel that anxious feeling, that disturbed feeling, whatever that is, I'm going to, what? What do you see yourself doing to release that anxious feeling? As I said in the infographic that I posted yesterday here on Instagram, I give emotions and movements, but those are just suggestions. You're welcome to put whatever feels right for you to release that emotion. That just gives you a guideline so you don't have to think so much. You don't have to sit and think about it for you. Another emotion that and you are welcome to, I love your questions, I love your comments, and I'm happy to address them, but I'm just going to keep talking if nobody sends any. Another emotion that I've noticed is frequent in me is that of defeat. If life doesn't go the way the voice in my head said it was supposed to go, even the most simple things. Maybe it woke up that morning and had this idea to go do something totally insignificant. It wasn't a big life plan, but it was going to go to, it was going to go shopping, let's say. It had it in its mind, it was set in its mind that this was what was going to happen. And then maybe something came up, and then another thing came up, and another thing came up, and I didn't get to go at the time I wanted to go, or whatever. Then I feel this energy of defeat. Yesterday I was feeling it, and I noticed the food that I wanted was a milkshake, of all things. And I was like, yeah, that'll make me feel better. Just a milkshake would be amazing. So I had to shift my focus from what food would make me feel better to what movement I could see that might release that. And I'm going to do the movement first, and if I still want the milkshake, I'll go get it. I didn't. And the movement was a very gentle movement. When I was feeling that energy of defeat, it's like, basically my mind didn't get what it wanted. So it was telling me something that it wants a lot, which is I love milkshakes, chocolate. But I know that this body does not need milkshakes every day or every month even, like whatever. Milkshake's not the point, but I'm just saying that the movement that I saw, I closed my eyes and I thought, what movement could I replace that would release the energy of defeat? And I saw like a real gentle yoga. So it doesn't have to be big movement. It's more about replacing the movement with the food with the movement. That's more about what this is than anything. You're creating a new habit. You're creating a new go-to. You're shifting your focus immediately off of how I can make myself feel better or cope with the feeling with food, and how can I cope with the feeling. So I saw like a child's pose. When you're feeling defeated, you're just kind of like, I didn't get what I wanted. Life didn't go the way I thought it was going to go, and this is how I'm feeling. So it was like child's pose, just what popped into my head as what would feel good to me. To just, you know what child's pose is. If you don't, look it up. You're basically just down on the ground and you've got your arms over your head and you kind of sit back into your knees or your legs on the ground. And then the movement, because I wanted to have some movement, not just to sit there in child's pose, but the movement was down dog. So I would go child's pose and then I'd go down dog, which really felt good to stretch the back of my legs. So it was feeling good, and it was releasing that energy of defeat, that feeling. And after I was done, I felt so proud of myself that I shifted that there was no way I was going to eat it. I didn't care. That was no longer relevant. I just didn't care about the milkshake. Are milkshakes still good? Yes, they're still good. They still taste good. That didn't change. What changed was I did something healthy. Even if I still had a plan on getting the milkshake, didn't matter. I did something healthy before I did the milkshake. It felt good. It felt good to my body. I shifted my focus from here in my head to my body. And then I just wanted to take care of that body. I felt so proud that I was trying to release the emotion, but it was caring for the body at the same time. And it felt good to care for that body. And then I didn't want to put the milkshake in it. So I have a feeling that this is what will happen to you also. So I hope that has helped you. I wanted to, hold on a minute. Let me clear this text away. I don't know how long I've been talking, but this is not going to be a very long lunchtime live. That's pretty much the introductory of this 30-day. And listen, if you don't want to follow for 30 days, if 30 days is too long for you or whatever, or if that, start with 3, okay? Just start with 3. And see how that goes. You have nothing to lose. If you are following and subscribing or whatever, if you want to cancel it, cancel it. It's $4.99. Reframing movement as something loving to do for my body instead of a way to achieve a goal sounds quite beautiful. Thank you, Donnie. I think that it is too, and I think it's a very conscious, you're using consciousness, which is something you're wanting to, or I am, it's a goal for myself, and you're taking care of the body, and your body's getting healthier, and the emotions are releasing. It's really, I think it's a gentle way to shift out of emotional eating and not make it about, oh my God, now you gotta, okay, here's your diet plan, and here's the exercises that you do for 30 days, and go. And you're all gung-ho, and you're all excited about it. And, you know, you've got the momentum going. This is going to work. I've got this. And you got the momentum going for 3 days. And then day 4, you're like, day 5, you're like, and then it just kind of dissipates. And there you are left with the feelings of, I didn't stick with it. I feel all of that. Like, we're not going even down that road. None of this will stimulate any of that. It's not what it's about. It's just about replacing one habit with another. It's quite simple. And if weight loss is a beautiful side effect, if more peace, you'll either be more, you're going to be more peaceful, or you're going to be moving a whole bunch. Either one is a win-win. Either you become so conscious by observing these things that you have less and less emotional disturbance, so there's no reason to move, so you're just more conscious. You can move if you want to. Have less stress in your body. That's a win-win. Or maybe you don't catch it consciously, and you do have a lot of emotional disturbance, and you do move a lot over the next 30 days. That's also a win. You can't lose with this. You really can't. The only way you can lose is if you just don't do it. If you just don't set the timer for 3 minutes. That's it. Set the timer for 3 minutes. I'm going to move my body. I don't care if it's just moving, oh, my neck pop, moving your neck from side to side or swaying your body. Sometimes if you're in a depressed, there's a depressed energy, or there's a heavy energy moving in your body, your emotion, your drama queen has drained your physical energy with all day, and you're drained. You don't feel like doing anything or moving because every bit of your energy, your life force energy, is right here being possessed by this drama queen. So there's not a lot left in the physical body. So if that's where you are and that's what you're feeling, sway your body from side to side. I don't care what it is. Just move it. This is not about getting your heart rate up to 130 beats per minute so that you can maintain a metabolic zone. This is not what this is. This is breaking a habit of emotional eating by replacing that habit of eating with moving. Hey, Joanne. Yeah. So if you're there, your mind has sucked up all of your energy and is taking it over for itself. And if all you can do is this for 3 minutes, do that. What's that going to do? anytime you move anything, blood is circulating, different chemicals are being released. It doesn't matter how big of a movement, small of a movement, it's not about that. You're moving. And even more than that, your conscious attention, your energy is being distracted and retained or removed from the voice in your head, using it all, to your hands. Your conscious awareness is on your hands. Your focus is shifting to your hands. It's shifting. And then maybe you move your wrist. I don't care what it is that you do for 3 minutes. Just do that. And then every time your mind says something about, I feel this or I feel that, and now there's this disturbance, or I'm so depressed, or here's all this depressive energy and I just feel deflated and defeated and like this, get down in the floor, do a child's pose. Maybe you don't do a down dog. Maybe you just sway your hips while you're in that child's pose from side to side, stretching your muscles like this. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're in the bed and all you can do is do a little range of motion with your ankles or your hands or your wrists or your feet. Or maybe your head from side to side or up and down. It doesn't matter what it is. The point is to replace the eating with the movement and to re-shift your focus. That's the biggest thing that's happening, is the focus shift. Any other questions from anybody while we're here? I just released, or I'm about to publish it on YouTube, and I'll put it here on Instagram. I just did a conscious conversation. If you follow those, if those help you fuel your consciousness. I just did one talking about the Dr. Seuss book, Horton Hears a Who. So I invite you to listen to that if those talks help you. And if there is nothing more, is there a trick to not overeat at a meal? Well, we could go into that. And again, that is just coming to consciousness, awareness of when I'm sitting at the table. I'm just paying attention again to my body. I was hungry, and so I'm eating. And that's natural and normal. Your body needs food. And I'm eating, and as I'm eating, I'm really alert, not on what my mind is saying, but what my body is saying. I'm alert on what my body is saying. Thank you, JSG. And my body is like, oh, it's not hungry anymore. Even if maybe all you've eaten is just a little handful or 15 bites of something or whatever, you eat it slowly. I did do something on that earlier in the year about conscious eating. Those are here on Instagram someplace. If you go to my profile, it would be way back, probably in February or March maybe. But I talked a lot about that, ways you could do conscious eating. So that's also something, you could look into. It's really just paying attention and not overfeeding the body. It's like, okay, mine's growling now as I'm talking. Are you full now? Are you still hungry? What's going on? Oh, I think I've had enough. Yeah, I think I've had enough. Then leave it. If you're one of these people that's like, I can't leave all this good food, I can't leave it, I have to have it for the next meal. When your body says it's hungry again, reheat it, eat the rest of it. Your mind a lot of times will, oh, you can't waste it, you gotta, oh, it's so good, but it's only going to be this good right now, and you can't, it's like, no, I can have it later. It may not be exactly like it was steaming hot, fresh out of the oven this time, but it's still going to be good, and I can still eat it, and I'll eat half of it now, and I'll eat half of it later. Do you still do individual life coaching sessions? Yes, I do. And you can find that link at my website, angiejohnsey.com. My stomach is growling a lot. You're welcome, Kiki. Do you hear it? Oh my God. Now I'm gonna knock everything down. Now my body is talking to me. So I guess I better go for lunch because it is time to eat. It begins with today's lunchtime live. Yes, it does. So if you want to join us, Jancy, I need you because you're like this wonderful little prompt of what to say next, and it helps so much. You can go if you want to follow along the 30-day challenge, which I'm just going to be giving you little prompts each day, either through your email, if you're on Teachable, if you're in Soul Strong, that's tidymind.teachable.com. That's how you find Soul Strong. You can subscribe there. You'll get an email, or you can go into the course itself and see what the email said. I'll put it in both places. Or if you subscribe on YouTube, my YouTube channel is youtube.com/@tidymind, all one word. You can go there, you click the subscription button, and I think they're doing a promotion now. It's like $3.99 a month for the first month, something like that. You can do you can join there. Regularly it's $7.99 because I also give my YouTube subscribers like a personal helpline to me. Like if their consciousness really is they're being overtaken by unconsciousness, I can help them out through a couple simple texts. Or if you want to join us for the 30-day Become an Emotional Mover instead of an Emotional Eater on Instagram, which is here, all you do is click anything that, go to my profile page where you see the bio and all that stuff. Underneath there's a button that says subscription, and you just click that. And then you will get posts that other people will not see. You'll get the prompts there in those posts or those reels, whatever it shows up as. And then we also have a group chat in there. Yes, it is for lunch. My stomach's still going. We have a group chat in there where I can talk to you there each day also. So however you want to interact, if you want to interact, wonderful. If not, maybe all you need is this lunchtime live and you can go for it. Because basically, I've told you everything we're doing. There's no reason that you can't do it. You just won't get the daily prompts and the accountability and the support. But you may be one of those do-it-yourselfers like I am. You don't need that. It's just like, oh, I can do that. I can shift this habit by using these ideas and tools and techniques and go for that. Do that. Whatever it is, okay? Either join us or be a do-it-yourselfer. I've given you all the information here in this lunchtime live, but just do it. Give it a try. You're going to be emotionally healthier. You're going to be more conscious. And at the end of the 30 days, I bet you'll be not just emotionally lighter, but also physically lighter. So I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you back here next Friday for another lunchtime live at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Pacific Time, and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See y'all later. Bye.